Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. Oh my god, that last episode, hello? We learned a lot. I feel so incredibly bad for Soren. Oh my god. We learned some horrible truths about Soren's condition due to the accident and things like that. We learned that not only does he have vast memory issues because of the trauma that he experienced regarding his sister's death, but he was also possibly the person that caused it, meaning that he apparently, according to this, was driving the car when the crash happened that killed his sister. And he wakes up nearly every day remembering that only and has to write down all of his memories in a notebook. So can you imagine not remembering some of your past memories and not being able to make current or future ones? It's just horrible. And unfortunately, because I am the queen, I know that there's something's going on. There's too much happening here that points to Pierce. And so we kind of included him in the very end of the last episode. I think we are going to talk to him now. I feel in my heart of hearts, I have a lot of brainworms about this. I'm worried. I don't know if I want to say right out what I was thinking. I might want to wait until the shoe actually drops because I don't want to influence what other people might be thinking about this in particular. But not only is it very obvious because there isn't a very large cast here that we could blame people on, things on, but there's too much involving the cover-ups, things that have been kept secret, and it leads me to ask the question, how many other secrets are there? Is there a lot more to this than what we're thinking? And all I'm going to say about my brainworms are people actually dead that they are saying are dead? That's all I'm gonna say. Just chew on that for a minute, and then I'm not going to say who. I have doubts. I have doubts because of the way everything has been just swept under the rug. So surely they could slip other things under. Just a thought. All right, Phoenix, let's do this. Now we'll have to face Pierce on the stand. Yeah, I wonder how helpful he's gonna be. Spoiler alert, not. I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not. I'm not surprised. You guys heard me. The minute I saw him, you guys, we have proof. We have video proof that I picked him out immediately. I said, bitch, you did it. You don't put a handsome guy like that in front of me and have him be the butler and have him be all kinds of like that. You know what I'm talking about. And he did it. One thing's for sure, he won't be an easy adversary. No, Sephiroth never is. So, do you think Pierce did it? It's too early to say anything at this point. But I do think he's still hiding something. Nick! Larry, what do you want? Why didn't you pin everything on Soren Loser back there? Because he didn't do it? Girl, grow up. Ellen don't even like you. Get the hell out of here. Grow up, will ya? Looks like Larry still hasn't given up on Ellen. Oh, if this Pierce guy is the real bad guy, then Soren and my Ellie will live happily ever after together. Yeah, don't you want her to be happy, dude? What am I saying? Of course you don't. You don't think that far ahead? You don't care about that? Larry, that's not the kind of thing a decent human being says. Yeah, I know. Shame on you, Larry. Oh, you think I don't know? I know I have to give up on my Ellie. But Nick, I promise you I'll make her happy. She deserves a happily ever after. That's what I'm trying to do here, dude. I'm trying to make it so they're both happy. I'm sure Soren will make her happy once all this is said and done. Here's hoping, because I'm worried. I'm worried about some shit. The trial's about to resume, Mr. Wright. All right, you ready, Maya? Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Oh, man. I'll be rooting for you, Nick. Thank you. Do nothing else. All you need to do is sit down and root for me. Do not stand up. Do not talk to me during this thing. Don't go out to go to the bathroom. Don't move. Don't do a damn thing. Just sit there and let me do this. Do not interrupt. Do not scream objection. Do not. I don't want to see your ass on the stand. I will call the cops. Please, do not fuck my shit up. Edgeworth, how you doing? You doing all right over there? You seem kind of grumpy during this case. I'm a little surprised. Listen, it's very much in character for Edgeworth to be very nonchalant and aloof about a lot of this, but I don't know. I kind of feel like he's being a bit more crabby than usual when he says that he's just trying to find the truth. Now, I know this case is going to be hard for him, right? Because, like, I'm assuming a powerful company like this has probably got him sweating a tiny bit, but listen. Come on, Edgeworth, we gotta find the truth together. Judge, you too.
This court is now back in session. Witness, please take the stand.
Nice shoes. How you doing, girl? Yeah, you looking fine as usual. Listen, I gotta be honest. Why is it always the hot ones that shit the loudest? Why is it always the hot ones that fuck up our cases? What is it with this? It's always the hottest people imaginable. It always is.
Please state your name and occupation.
My name is Pierce Nickety. I am the Sprocket family butler. Let's get straight to the point, Mr. Nickety. Someone tore out a page from Mr. Sprocket's notebook to manipulate his memories. And that person was you, wasn't it? What are you gonna say to that? That's pretty blunt. That is correct. What about it? What? Oh, he just said it. Oh. Okay, case closed. I've done it. Well, that was easy. So why did you do it? Why did you tamper with Mr. Sprocket's notebook? You got an explanation for that? Please allow me to explain. It pains me to do this, but I will tell you the truth. It pains you? Uh-oh. What has he covered up this time? See, that's what I'm thinking. He's got a big cover-up under there that we don't know about. Surely. That is correct. Well, my testimony will go against Master Soren's wishes. Soren's wishes? What is he talking about? I don't know. Uh-oh. That's not good, is it? Okay. Let's see what he's got. Why I tore out the page, okay? I rushed to the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. I saw Miss Ellen and Gloomsbury collapsed and Master Soren writing in his notebook. Master Soren said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. What? Really? Did you actually, though? Wait a second. What Mr. Sprocket was writing in his notebook at the time, could it be the things that he did? Or the things that he saw? Probably both. Because remember, it says this right here. I mean, we found this in the last one. It was meant to be a confession, an admission that he killed Gloomsbury himself. That's what I was worried about in the first place. Although it is very likely that he still could have forged that and this is a lie. We don't know yet. He wrote that message to take the blame for Miss Wyatt? That could also be. That is correct. Master Soren did hit Gloomsbury with the timekeeper to save Miss Ellen. Then Mr. Sprocket was the culprit after all? However, that blow did not kill Gloomsbury. That makes sense. Mr. Sprocket's injury wouldn't allow him to put much force into it. Enraged, Gloomsbury tried to attack Master Soren, who was already seriously wounded. But, just in the nick of time, Miss Ellen hit Gloomsbury from behind. And finished him off, it would seem. I don't know about all that. Wait a minute, that makes her an accomplice. So the one who inflicted the fatal blow was the defendant? Yes, that is correct. How convenient that you just accused both of them and got... This could put them both out of commission. That seems awful convenient for you, if you're hiding something. But Master Soren tried to take all of the blame onto himself. No way! This is pretty bad, Nick. No kidding. Pretty bad is an understatement. You know, this is hella bad. Does anyone in this game say hella ever? I don't think so. No. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems that your decision to call for Mr. Nickety has backfired. Yes, like so many other things I've done in my life. Well, the true culprit behind the case remains the defendant, Ellen Wyatt. Yeah, but wait a minute, I haven't even cross-examined this dude yet. Hang on, hold the phone, please. Could this get any worse? Never ask that in the middle of court. Never tell me the odds. But Pierce was involved in the cover-up plot. And I bet he still has something to hide. Uh-huh. I'm thinking so too, Phoenix, for sure. First of all, let's get through this and see what we can eke out of him here. Right, okay.
Scooby-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I rushed to the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. Tell me more about what you saw there. Wait a minute. I thought that you went to the Vista deck with Mr. Sprocket. Actually, that is not true. Oh, you don't say. What do you mean? I found this out afterwards, but Master Soren went to the Vista deck alone. He went out the escape hatch in the reception hall and went along the outside wall.
What?
So you're saying that did happen? After all that fucking talk we had before about how it did or didn't? What? How you gonna drop that on me now?
You can't be serious. You mean Mr. Wright's addlepated guess was actually correct?
Drink it up, Edgeworth. Listen, it happens. Not often,
but it do.
What's with the addlepated?
I suppose truth really is stranger than fiction.
That should be the motto of this game series. That should be the model of this whole franchise. Mr. Nickety, when you got to the scene, you saw Mr. Gloomsbury, Miss Wyatt, and Mr. Sprocket. Is that right? That is exactly right. Okay, I saw Miss Ellen and Gloomsbury collapse and Master Soren writing in his notebook. Tell me more about that, because it seems a bit odd. So when you and your group arrived at the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? That is correct. Gloomsbury had already been struck. Miss Ellen had lost consciousness, probably from the shock of the incident. And how did Mr. Sprocket appear? He was bleeding from the stab wound he'd received from Gloomsbury. Barely conscious, he was writing something in his notebook. So the mysterious third person Ellen saw really was Soren then. I mean, that's 3 people now that said they've been there. Ellen said she saw someone. Soren said he was there. Pierce said he was there. I'm assuming now we can take that as fact. It has to be. Well, I'm going to until the game tells me otherwise. Master Soren said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen. Right, okay.
Hold it!
Did she say anything else? Or did he say anything else? So Mr. Sprocket wrote a note of confession in order to take the blame for Miss Wyatt? Yes. That notebook is the only form of memory Master Soren has. So you understand what his action meant, I trust? Yeah, I get it, but... I understand. What did it mean, Nick? To Soren, everything in that notebook is true. So Soren tried to take the blame by altering his own memory to make himself think that he did it. Is that what we're going through is fact? So it wasn't forged. He wrote it in the fact that he would wake up the next day, read it, and say, I must have done that. Because he takes it all to be true. Uh-oh. No. Master Soren truly loves Miss Ellen. It must have been love that made him do that. You don't say. Huh, okay. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. Well, definitely tell me more about hiding the body. How did that occur? Mr. Nickety, could you please tell this court about that in more detail? That, you say? Which part do you mean, Mr. Wright? Could you be more specific? Yeah, I'll be specific. Oh, all right. What part do I want to know more about? No, definitely hiding the body. I don't care about the page. We already realized that the page is gone because he didn't want him to see it. That's kind of obvious. No, I want to know about hiding the body. That's the one thing we don't know about. Remember, this man was found in one of the cow statues, all messed up, and we haven't talked about that at all. Please tell me more about the hiding of the body. Very well. Yeah, okay. This takes a long time. All right, you've got all the time in the world. After saying he would take the blame, Master Soren passed out. That's when I hid the body. I quickly took the lift down to the hold, where I hid Gloomsbury's still warm body in the spare peggable lantern. So it was you who hid the body, not the defendant? To think Mr. Butts would move the lantern containing the body to the reception hall. Well, I did not see that coming. Really? I don't blame you. Not even Larry can predict what Larry will do next. That's true. That's very true. Maybe I should take another look at the lantern and evidence.
For what? Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness's testimony?
I mean, there's rarely never any chance that you shouldn't. I'm honestly thinking at this point, I don't think there's ever been a part in the series where you wouldn't have wanted to add it, even if you don't end up pressing it later. Like I said, adding it isn't gonna hurt, so let's do that. Yes, please. Which means we must have to do something now on this statement that's gonna be added. And he mentioned the peggable lantern, so let's look at that real quick in a second.
Very well. Please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Nickety.
Okay. In the hold, I hid the still warm body in the spare peggable lantern. Now, something would tell me that it has something to do with the lantern. Let's look at it. Because he said we should look at the broken one, I'm sure. The restored lantern, there's a blood stain on the inside wheel handles if someone gripped it with a bloody hand. So it's definitely got something to do with that wheel because we've mentioned it a couple of times. Let's present it. Problem is, I just don't know exactly what he's going to mention. Could it be? Is that what happened? See, I don't know. You know what I'm thinking? Because here's what I'm just going to say it before they go on. Because we surmised that either the handle was put on backwards or something's messed up. Because if there was blood on the inside handle of the lantern and it wasn't switched, that means that someone was alive in there and had a bloody hand and tried to get out. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. But we still don't know if it was actually switched or not because that was mentioned. And I'm not sure which is the truth. If what I'm thinking is true, then maybe I can prove neither Ellen nor Soren did the deed. Now, if he was still alive in the lantern, that might be enough, although they still attacked him maybe. Mr. Nickety, you said the body was still warm when you hit it, correct? So then, what if Mr. Gloomsbury was still alive when you went to put his body inside the lantern? Oh, here we fucking go. No, he's gonna do the same thing I just said.
What?
That's preposterous. Shut up, Edgeworth. I ain't even talking to you today. Actually, this shows that the victim might have still been alive while inside the lantern. Remember they said it was switched? It's on the outside now, but surely that's supposed to be on the inside, right? How do we prove that, though? I guess we just maybe show it against the other lantern, which is probably what we're gonna have to do.
I'm afraid you'll have to point out which part you're talking about, Mr. Wright.
This part here shows that the victim might have been alive inside the lantern. It's the handle. The thing is how do we prove that, well, I think we have a picture of the other one. Well, we have a slight picture of the other one, I think. It's in the brochure. As you can see, the back end of the lantern is a door. And there's blood here on the wheel handle. Hang on, I ain't done.
That blood stain must have gotten there when the witness put the body inside the lantern. It in no way shows that the victim drew his last breath while he was within the lantern.
Oh, hang on, I ain't done. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth, for you see, in putting this lantern back together, the police inadvertently placed the inside handle on the outside, and vice versa. So we are going with that, because we know it doesn't match. In other words, the wheel handles got swapped.
Oh my, so they got swapped?
Yes, they got swapped. How many times are we gonna say swapped?
What? But that's ridiculous.
Well, so is this whole trial. So it's always ridiculous in here. Not at all. If you compare the other male peggable lantern in the reception hall. Okay, we're gonna compare this one. That's what I wasn't sure about. There it is, look. It's quite obvious that the wheel handles were attached backwards. So we know for sure now that someone tried to open it from the inside with a bloody hand. That proves it.
The detective in charge of the restoration will see me in my office later.
Oh, Emma. Oops. Sorry, Emma. Good luck.
Oh, in that case, what does the blood stain on the wheel handle mean?
The bloodstain didn't get there by chance. When the victim was put inside the lantern, he was only unconscious, not dead. When he regained consciousness, he probably tried to get out of the lantern. So he grasped the inner wheel handle, and that's when the blood got on it. That makes sense to me. This proves that the victim was still alive when he was inside the lantern. Oh shit, you gotta be somewhere? I'm sorry. At the time, I was completely convinced that Gloomsbury was dead. Had I checked more carefully, he might have survived.
Unfortunate to be sure, but not significant enough to change this trial's outcome.
Hang on, Edgeworth, I'm still not done. I mean, you get patient over there. Again, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. It actually has a very significant impact on this case.
The victim was struck by the defendant, then died from his injuries sometime later. There's nothing more to it.
No, there is, I think.
That's where you're wrong. Let's take another look at Mr. Gloomsbury's autopsy report, shall we?
Look at this autopsy report. Here we go. Please focus on the description of his injuries. It says, 1 contusion was found on the back of the head and 1 on the side.
Yes, the one Mr. Sprocket gave him and the one Miss Wyatt delivered to finish him off.
I don't know about that, though.
No, the defense would like to submit a different interpretation. A different interpretation?
The victim was knocked unconscious by the first blow and then was put into the lantern.
Then what about the lethal blow by the defendant that the witness talked about?
Yes, well, that didn't happen. After some time, when the victim regained consciousness and tried to get out of the lantern, oh no, it's not a thing where he stood up too fast and just like thunk, you know, that kind of shit. I don't think so though. That's when he received the second blow that finished him off.
Taking into account the fact that the victim was alive for a period after the first hit, and that he did receive a second blow to the head, it does seem entirely possible.
Wait a minute. Shit, wait, if that's what we're going with, hang the fuck on. Hang on, think about it for a second. Wait a minute. What do we know about what could have happened in that time? What do we know about that? Could someone... Oh, what if Pierce went in there again, realized he wasn't dead and conked him out? Is that possible? That's what I'm thinking. Yes, as long as the first blow didn't kill the victim instantly, then there's a possibility that someone other than Mr. Sprocket or Miss Wyatt delivered the fatal blow.
Objection!
What? What is your problem today?
That's all you've got?
No? You want to see what I got?
Wait a minute, hang on, we're in court. Even if there was no time lag between the 2 blows.
The 2 blows. It's like the Twin Towers.
The prosecution's position doesn't change.
What? What do you mean?
It's elementary, Mr. Wright. After the reception, when the defendant was cleaning up the reception hall.
Right, this image.
The victim, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly came out of the lantern. The defendant grabbed the murder weapon, which was right there, and finished him off.
This does look bad, doesn't it, this? Ugh, man. Alright, well, think. Hang on a minute. There's gotta be another way to describe it, then.
That theory does sound awfully familiar.
Of course it does.
Because it's exactly what I proposed at the very start. The second blow is inflicted by the defendant after all. I see. It seems a tangle of mysteries has unraveled into a single thread.
Objection!
Hang on, though. There's gotta be something else. What are we missing? But as long as there's a possibility that the fatal blow was delivered by a third person, then we must continue the deliberations.
Give it up, Mr. Wright. Unless you have something to prove in the presence of your precious third person.
Okay, Nick. Just relax. You can do this. Come on now. Take some deep breaths.
Good idea. Deep breaths, deep breaths.
Come on, Phoenix. We got this. There. Don't you feel better already?
I is right. I should calm down, get my focus back, and go over everything again. And then, hopefully, I'll be able to find something to prove there was a third person. Let's see. First, why did Gloomsbury attack Ellen?
Oh, because he was tired of taking the blame for the accident?
But something about that line of reasoning doesn't feel quite right to me.
No? How come?
Well, if it's just a personal vendetta, he had already stabbed Soren. So why then was he so determined to go after Ellen?
That's true. What was the motive there? You're right. This whole thing feels too premeditated for a crime of passion. That's the note that we have, right? And I believe this note says, like, let me see. Right-handed person. Grab Ellen
then send her off from the Vista deck. It's written by a right-handed person. That's the other thing, and we haven't presented this yet. Wait a minute, we've already proven that Mr. Gloomsbury is left-handed. Stop. Okay. Guess what that could mean? Gloomsbury didn't seem to have a personal grudge against Ellen. If Gloomsbury didn't have a personal reason to attack Ellen, then someone might have put him up to it, for reasons. What if someone higher up on the food chain was like, hey, do this or else your life is ruined? What about something like that? You've taken long enough, Mr. Wright. Now it's time for some action. Oh, shit, okay. Court, I need a 20-minute recess. Make that 30 minutes. And yes, sir, judge, please. A 30-minute recess, please. It's very important. What proof do you have that a third person was involved? All right, I'll show you. I'm not completely sure of what I'm doing yet, but it looks like I'm out of time. No, we gotta bluff this even if we have nothing. This piece of evidence proves the involvement of a third person. It's gotta be the note because they just showed it to me, number one. And number two, we haven't presented it yet. Also, the right-handed thing is gonna come up. Get ready for that. I get it now. Now I see why this note bothered me so much when I first saw it. Is it really easy to tell the handwriting of a left-handed and right-handed person? I guess I never know for sure. Is that simple to tell? I've never thought about it, really. It looks like a note outlining the murder plot. It's just amazing to me that this is the first time we're using it. I mean, we're late in the game here. That note was apparently written by the victim. But why would he feel the need to write instructions to himself like this? That was the thing, and we'd all but forgotten about it up to now. Your Honor, look at this note. This is the victim's murder plan, right? It's definitely a murder plan, but what if Mr. Gloomsbury didn't write this note himself? What? Oh, now Edgeworth's gonna be like, how can you prove that? I just took my pants off. Don't worry about what I'm doing. This is how you intend to conjure up your mysterious third party, Mr. Wright? Can you even prove that that note wasn't written by the victim? Yes. Yes. Yes, I can. Very well, then. Please present your evidence, Mr. Wright. This evidence proves that the victim didn't write the note. What do we have? What do we have that shows the part about him being left-handed? Don't we have something like that? Do we? Where was it? There's something, and I don't remember what. Here. Gloomsbury's dominant left hand, and we need that because that's the part we're trying to prove. Take that! Oh shit, his prints are on it, left-handed. This is the weapon Mr. Gloomsbury used to stab Mr. Sprocket. I was wondering what she'd pull out this time. Wait, I'm sorry, excuse me? Were ya? I wasn't. You knew all along. Listen, I know. You know all along, Edgeworth. You have known. Don't act stupid now. You knew what I would pull out this time. Okay. You got, Well, expect my Twitter to be full of these tomorrow. Dare I ask what that could possibly have to do with the note? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Mr. Gloomsbury's prints were found on this candelabra, and the prints were from his left hand. So that makes the victim left-handed, correct? Exactly, Your Honor. The police looked into it too and confirmed as much. Now, look at this smudged writing in this note. Oh, they're saying, so I don't know if there is really a way to tell left-handed from right-handed, but what they're saying is the smudge is when you put your hand on the paper and write over it, like each line. I get it. I've done that in school. We've probably all done that in some way. I get what they're saying now. I was like, wait, how can you tell just by looking at it? But it's the kind of way that it's smudged that kind of shows the direction of the writing. Notice how the smudging only starts from the middle of each preceding line. Yeah, that's how it usually looks. Had this been written by a lefty, the writing would be smudged from the far left end. This means that whoever wrote this note was definitely right-handed. In other words, somebody other than the victim wrote this note. What? But if someone other than Mr. Gloomsbury wrote it, then what does this note mean? Mr. Gloomsbury followed this note to the letter when he attacked Miss Wyatt. Yeah, I agree with that too. So clearly this note isn't a murder plan written by Mr. Gloomsbury, but rather, these are instructions to kill Miss Wyatt, issued by somebody else. Ooh, I agree with that.
Objection!
I agree with that completely. If it wasn't the victim who wrote these so-called instructions, then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed, you know. He is correct. The majority of the family and their employees who are on the airship are indeed right-handed. I must say, that is a very rough and slipshod conjecture you've proposed. You know what? No one asked you. Ain't nobody talking to you right now. You can have a seat. And the fact that you put that in there makes me think that you're sweating a little bit. You didn't have to say nothing. Shut up. Mad. I admit I hadn't figured out who wrote it just yet. We know it was him though, right? That's where I'm going with. Who else could it be?
Leave it to Mr. Edgeworth to go for the jugular.
It's his kink. What can we say about it? This culprit who ordered Mr. Gloomsbury to attack Ellen. What could their motive have been?
That's the thing we have to figure out, though. Even if it was Pierce, what was the motive? I'm still having a hard time coming up with it. Is it something that has to do with being the heir? Maybe if Soren's out of the picture and Selena's out of the picture, that moves him to next in line? That was really the only thing I ever thought of the whole time. I'm like, what motive could have been? That was the only thing I came up with. But could it be something so silly as that? That seems kind of obvious, doesn't it? It doesn't seem very likely that Ellen did anything to incur anybody's wrath, right?
Right. Not too likely, anyway. In that case, it has to be about Soren.
Well, if someone were to hold a grudge against Soren, what would it be about?
That accident, I guess. I could understand if Bloomsbury felt resentful about having to take the blame.
But the one who lost the most to that accident was Soren's sister. She lost her life after all.
Wait. I'm gonna just give you my thoughts right now, as they come. So you can be like, you probably had time to think about that. I've been watching too many dramas lately. But this line sticks out to me. The one who lost the most to that accident was Soren's sister. She died. What if the person behind this was in love with her? Is that too stupid? I mean, that's out there. That's definitely in a drama somewhere, isn't it? Did Pierce love her? Stop! I need to know.
Soren suffered too, of course. He was crushed by losing someone so precious to him.
Soren definitely suffered, though, as well. Someone precious, huh? Soren's sister. Wait, there's one more person. There's someone else who must hold a grudge against Soren. Wait, what about the doctor that they also mentioned? The doctor that apparently was close to Selena.
Did you figure something out?
Oh, stop. I don't like where this is going. Uh-oh. I think so. I think this somebody else used Gloomsbury to try to get revenge against Soren. Did you say somebody tried to get revenge against Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Wright?
The person who manipulated and used Mr. Gloomsbury was...
Wait a fucking second! Wait a minute.
Wait. Does this mean that they're the same person? How? Wait, how could nobody have known that, though? Or, wait a minute, is it part of the grand cover-up? Remember I said, there was too many cover-ups, what else are they covering up? Remember they said he just disappeared? I don't know how it works because we don't know the exact timeline, but I thought Pierce was with them forever. At least that's what they kind of made it seem to be. But what if he wasn't? What if he showed up then?
Wait a minute, this is too crazy. The person who used Mr. Gloomsbury to try to get revenge on Mr. Sprocket, and then finished Mr. Gloomsbury off to silence him, was a man dear to Mr. Sprocket's older sister, Selena Sprocket's fiancé. Not that I'm not positive, but it's certainly possible. This fiancé could have made Gloomsbury attack Ellen to get his revenge on Soren.
That would make sense, but I don't understand the timeline. Is Pierce the doctor?
What? Her fiancé? Is he the surgeon? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Man, this game always has something. It always has a twist you didn't expect. If that's true.
Order, I say. Yes, it does seem quite believable that Miss Selena Sprocket's fiancé would bear a grudge against Mr. Sprocket for his role in the accident.
Especially now, knowing that he was driving. Exactly, Your Honor. Maybe her fiancé was trying to murder Miss Wyatt in order to make Mr. Sprocket experience the same pain that he'd felt. Oh no, of course. That's also in a lot of dramas.
Miss Sprocket's fiancé was a surgeon, if memory serves. But the only people who attended the reception were family and staff members.
That may be, but then that just means that Miss Sprocket's fiancé must have been among those who attended. What? Really? Of course. Otherwise, how could he have killed Gloomsbury? Oh, well, I see what you're doing. This is just another giant bluff, isn't it? Oh, oh man, no confidence in me whatsoever.
All right, I'll bite.
Oh, man. Well, this is the episode that just keeps on giving. Okay, I'm ready.
Who exactly do you claim this fiancé to be?
It can only be one person. It can only be one person.
Yes, I would like to know as well.
Are you sure you're gonna be okay, Nick? Maya does not believe in this. Maybe? When it comes to suspicious people, there's only one person on my list. There's only one person left. I need to find something that connects him to Selena. Oh, how? With what? Explain how. This will help us identify Miss Sprocket's fiance. How? Let's look at the picture. Is there something in here that I missed? It's right there. I didn't look at this picture too often, but now that the text isn't in front of it, because honestly, if you didn't notice before, like 5 minutes ago, when they had the picture up, anytime we've had this picture up, mostly, except for the first time we saw it, there's been text over it. You couldn't see the pocket watch. That's Pierce's. Oh my god. Oh my...
Take that!
Oh my god. Please take a look at this photo. That photo. Oh, you recognize it, do you? I bet you do, sir. See, look. Now, I know that you can't really... It's not all covered up here, but the first thing you look at when there's text over a picture like this is the text, and you didn't look at everything, because that's me. I didn't look at everything. Notice Miss Sprocket's pocket watch. Haven't we seen it somewhere before? It might have belonged to her. And he carries it with him. Maybe that's why he's always checking it. That's sad, though, isn't it?
Yes, now that you mention it, I do feel as if I've seen it somewhere before.
Oh, are you sweating now, sir? You still look handsome as hell. I believe we've all seen it. Right here in this very courtroom. Ugh, impossible. Yeah, you can start choking now. Listen, I'm choking. My throat's sore as hell. That's right, the pocket watch in this photo. Oh, shit. Pierce, it's yours. Well, it's hers, maybe. But it's also yours. It's the same pocket watch Mr. Nickety has on him right now. Oh boy. We've even commented on it, I believe, in the early investigation times, did we not? We did, I think. This is clear proof of a strong connection between Pierce Nickety and Selena Sprocket. No.
Well, Mr. Nickety, is this true?
What are you gonna say? Are you done talking? Uh-oh, that's usually not good. That's usually never good. Mr. Nickety, you were once engaged to Selena Sprocket. That pocket watch. You keep it as a memento of her, don't you? Oh boy. Uh-oh. Listen, I can understand how you might be upset by this, but that's not the way you handle it, sir. That's not the way you do things. Mr. Nickety, you plan to rob Mr. Sprocket of his loved one, to make him feel the same pain as you, isn't that right? He's not saying a word. Uh-oh. Mr. Sprocket managed to fight back and knock Mr. Gloomsbury unconscious. You thought Mr. Gloomsbury was dead and hid his body in the lantern. Ooh, boy. But then you noticed Mr. Gloomsbury regain consciousness. And you thanked him. And so you finished him off to prevent your plan from being exposed. This is the defense's take on what really happened in this murder case.
Mr. Wright, does this mean you wish to officially accuse this witness of the murder of Dumas Glimsbury?
Ooh, do I ever. I wanted to accuse him the minute I saw him. Does the defense accuse Mr. Nickety of the murder? I'm gonna do something terrible too. I'm gonna do something real bad. That's right, because that's how I roll. Listen, he's not the only bad person here. In the next one, what am I gonna do? Put it in the comments. I bet you guys know exactly what it's not even a thing. You don't have to put a poll or anything. I think you all know exactly what I'm gonna do, because when would I not? But I think once I do this, the whole last part of questioning will probably open up, and it's probably gonna be go time from whatever I choose right here. So in the next one, we will make this decision and go forward. I am going to probably accuse him. Probably. I'm doing it. Listen, come on. You guys know I am. And let's find out what happens. Oh my god. Okay, so I had some brain worms, but I was not expecting that. Holy crap. In the next one, let's find out everything. Let's tear this apart. We're gonna do it and find the truth. Thank you for coming on this journey with me, guys. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, and I will see you soon in the next episode. Toodaloo!